Give it a test. Testing, testing, 1, 2. Welcome to the Veneto Club for NPLW action on a Saturday afternoon. Say? Yep, okay. We're going to confirm that you can hear us. Can you hear me, Bucks? Yep, okay. Round 4 of NPLW Victoria coming your way this afternoon from the Veneto Club as Bulleen Lions host Alamein, two teams looking to get back on the horse after disappointing defeats last time out, having otherwise started the season fairly impressively, a couple of wins each to begin the campaign, and now looking to continue their charge up towards the upper echelons of the NPLW ladder. With a number of big games taking place this afternoon. Earlier on, Essendon Royals and Preston going head-to-head. After this, or starting in about 15 minutes' time, is the top of the table clash between South Melbourne and Heidelberg. But on the viewing menu at the Veneto Club, it's the teams who started the round in 3rd and 4th position, Bulleen and Alamein. Bulleen, last time out, suffering a real disappointing defeat at home to Preston Lions, 3-0. The full-time score in that one having been reduced to 10 players during the second half. Alamein as well, who've surprised most with their quick start to the campaign, brought crashing back to earth at the hands of South Melbourne. 3-0 the score at Dorothy Laver West Reserve on that occasion, but both teams with a chance to find themselves climbing back up the ladder in a big afternoon of NPLW football. Running through the lineups as we prepare for the game to get underway in just a minute or so's time. Both teams ringing the changes based on those previous results. For Bulleen, 2 changes made with Maddie Rakic and Nia Saleh coming into the starting 11 in place of Caitlin O'Brien, who drops to the bench, as well as Taylor Golden, who's out of the matchday squad. As for Alamein, it's the 3 changes, Harriet Laurie and Emma Runnels coming into the starting 11 alongside the returning Zoe Houghton in what should be a big boost for John Kyrgios's team. But underway at the Ven, my name is Oscar Rutherford. Thank you for your company in what promises to be a high-quality affair between 2 entertaining teams in this competition. Bulleen starting off with a little bit of early possession and looking to apply the press into Alamein. This is Rosie Roger on the ball. Treats back to Kristen Malloy, of course the centre-back pairing for Bulleen this afternoon of Malloy and Renahan, both coming across from Alamein in the off-season, so coming up against their former team. An Alamein team which has seen a lot of changes for season 2025. This is Harriet Laurie, one of the inclusions for this afternoon, playing the ball up towards Paige Clemenson. Nia Saleh now for Bulleen, running through the rest of the home team. In goal, Emily Shields. Number 3 is Kat Renahan. Number 4, Mila Bullich. 7, Danny Buttress. Number 8 is Sarah Kane. Number 10 is Maddie Rakic. 11, Anais Jasevsky. 15, Kristen Malloy. 19, Nia Saleh. 20, Sasha Kozamara. And 21 is Rosie Roger. Whilst for Alamein in goal, Olivia Cowan. Number 2, Estelle Burgess. Number 3, Chinatsu Shidara. Number 4, Maddie Van Duren. Number 6, Dakota Tyson. Number 7, Savannah Anastasopoulos. Number 8, Paige Clemenson. 9, Emma Runnels. 11, Zoe Houghton. 15, Harriet Laurie. And 21 is Neve Dustin. Dustin, who's been a real bright spark for Alamein early in the season. Already 3 goals to her name, including a couple in that really impressive win against Preston a couple weeks back. Equal top scorer in the division heading into this weekend is Dustin. As we see Rosie Roger winning the ball back from Chinatsu Shidara, hoping to slide it through towards Jasevsky, but Laurie was alert to the danger. Here's Saleh, tries her luck from an awkward position, and almost there to put it away was Danella Buttress. Looked as if it was flying high and well wide of the goal, but just dropped in a really awkward position for Cowan in the Alamein goal. Buttress, though, unable to apply the finishing touch. Shidara for Alamein plays it up to Emma Runnels. This is Laurie out towards Clemenson. Dakota Tyson. And Chinatsu Shidara spreads it to her centre-back partner for this afternoon, Maddie Van Duren. Stepping inside to a central defensive role, having had quite a tough time of it on the left side of defence last time out against South Melbourne. The first couple of goals coming from that part of the field in what was a more even game than the scoreline suggests. That ball in little bit awkward with the placement of the sun from Olivia Cowan. You can see wearing the cap, trying to mitigate those effects. But the 3-0 scoreline for Alamein after what was a decent start to the game. They were really hurt by a quick 1-2 punch from South Melbourne, which really coloured the remainder of the contest. And what's otherwise been an almost flawless start to the season. Wins against FE Academy and Preston. This is Sarah Kane for Bulleen. Goes inside towards Roger. Yaskevsky spreads it to Buttress. Turns it onto her left boot. Roger was there. Kane keeps the chance going, but the ball through is a fairly calm take for Olivia Cowan. Bulleen still without a multiples goal scorer this season, unlike them for a club that has produced a number of prolific scorers in this competition. But just the 3 goals so far in their 3 games, shared between Yasevsky, Buttress and Saleh, the front 3 for this afternoon's contest. But it has been a good 4.5 opening minutes for Bulleen. They apply a bit of a squeeze on their visitors. This is Sarah Kane. Hoping for Buttress, but Burgess was always getting there first. And taking no chance with the defending, just putting it out for a throw. Alamein, no doubt, will have come into this game expecting to spend a lot of time pinned back in their own half. It's very much the Bulleen way of doing things, especially here at the Ven. They can just suffocate their opposition. This is Kane. Back out again towards Buttress. You see Saleh there providing support. Goes to Kane instead. Sarah Kane tries her luck from a tight angle. Wasn't to be on that occasion, but it's been an optimistic start to the game as we wait for the call for another ball to be delivered up towards Cowan. Our central referee this afternoon, Angelique Katsalis, assisted by Helena Pana and Harper Rackham. Ball over the top towards Houghton. Renahan trying to keep her opponent at bay, but Houghton is buzzing around and wins her side a corner. Big inclusion, Zoe Houghton, who's made a real positive impact since arriving at Bulleen, at Alamein, I should say. Brought in from Eltham Redbacks in the off-season. Having previously been quite a prolific scorer at the lower levels, including with Avondale. In 2023, she did win the league best and fairest as well as the Golden Boot with 32 goals in 18 games. So not at NPLW level, but it tells you of the scoring prowess that Zoe Houghton brings to this team. For now, though, Alamein have their first corner of the afternoon. Ball sent into the near post. Roger was there defending. Dustin tried to get a shot away. It falls the way and into the path of Savannah Anastasopoulos. There's a few looks towards the assistant on the side. You can see the complaints from Bulleen. They feel there was an offside from Savannah Anastasopoulos, but the call wasn't made. And we're seeing the refereeing team just remain in discussion for the moment as Bulleen race back to their own half. And the call has been made retroactively to rule it offside. So no goal for Alamein. Anastasopoulos thought she had the opener, but after a consultation between central referee and assistant, the decision has been made that Anastasopoulos was indeed offside. And so Bulleen avoid an early scare. Looking to get right back on the attacking train, though, are Alamein. This is Houghton. Has the central run made by Runnels. Wasn't able to get her boot curling around that cross. So Alamein having to reset. They've done a good job at not letting that decision to rule out their goal affect them too much. They're right back on the offensive, and for the first time in the game, spending some time in the Bulleen half. This is Bujus. Ball inside, cut out by Sarah Kane. Long ball over the top is a good one towards Saleh. Van Duren used her body well. Handball there called against Maddie Van Duren. And Sasha Kozamara looks forward towards Saleh. Kozamara given her opportunity in the first team last week against Preston in what turned into somewhat of a baptism of fire. Preston really targeting Kozamara at the base of defence with their press, and were richly rewarded for it. Kind of experience that you'd hope that Kozamara would grow from in the long run. As we see Mila Bulic playing it through to Roger, who looks over the top towards Yasevsky. Laurie with the throw in towards Runnels. Clemenson. Sent up by Malloy, only as far as Shidara. And now Kozamara looks towards Buttress. Intercepted by Bujus though. So the game entering a bit more of an even phase. Both teams struggling to get themselves in a position of control. Dakota Tyson for Alamein. Ball inside, comfortably cut out. The chance, though, still ongoing before Kozamara sent it clear. Once again, Sasha Kozamara, impressed with Bulleen's under-20s team last season, runner-up in the best and fairest. But now this is Danny Buttress. It's a strong challenge made by the player with the armband, Estelle Bujus. And the result is a Bulleen throw. Runnels keeps the ball in play in towards Houghton, but Kozamara anticipated well. And now Danny Buttress once more. See some of the tricky feet on display. Estelle Burgess, though, was too clever for it. Buttress, one of those players who just every single week terrorises fullbacks, as we've already seen in the opening 14 minutes of this one. But the end result is, not for the first time this afternoon, a fairly tame ball through towards Cowan. Alamein are looking to invert what's been a fairly one-sided history in these two teams' meetings previously, particularly over the last few years. It's been a long time since Alamein have beaten Bulleen. That ball over the top is a good one. The offside flag, though, is raised to deny Savannah Anastasopoulos. Just on that head-to-head, overall it's firmly in Bulleen's favour. 15 wins to Alamein's 8. Just a couple of draws in there as well. This is a chance for Yosefsky now. Has a bit of space on the left-hand side. Anais Yosefsky cuts onto the left. Gets the cross away, but Shidara was there to stop her in her tracks and send it away for a throw. But that 15-8 overall head-to-head doesn't quite tell you the story of the last few years. 11 of the last 12 meetings Bulleen have won. For the previous Alamein win, you've got to go all the way back to August of 2019. Those 11 out of 12 Bulleen wins, the only other one being a draw. They're across all competitions. A couple of meetings in the Nike Cup as well. But August 2019, when Kat Goff and Emma Checker were the scorers for Alamein, in a 2-1 win against a Leah Privatelli Bulleen goal. Tells you a little bit about how much time has passed and the water under the bridge since then. This is Renahan for Bulleen. Estelle Burgess has been heavily involved in the opening 16 minutes. Ball over the top, headed clear by Bullich. Now Kane. See both of these teams partial to a fairly direct style of play, happy to go for the ball over the top or the speculative in-behind through ball. This is Rakic for Bulleen, one of the inclusions this afternoon, has the support of Kozamara for the sweeping long ball forward came and into the gloves of Cowan. Attempted a ball through from Dustin, isn't going to get to Anastasopoulos. This is Houghton. Made some space for herself, Zoe Houghton, and got the decent shot away as well. Tipped over the bar by Emily Shields. But Alamein, each time they go forward, you really do get a sense that they've got quite the cutting edge. Some of the attacking talent that they possess, always looking capable of scoring. But now they'll get the chance to see if they can find their way to the back of the net again. Alamein from a corner as Estelle Burgess heads over to deliver the in-swinging cross. Burgess delivers. Too narrow though, and into the side netting. These two teams did play out a real barn burner last season when they met here at the Veneto Club. The earlier meeting of the season in round 10. 4-3 was the full-time score on that occasion. Bulleen, of course, coming away with the win just about. Still got plenty of time to try and live up to that standard that they set in that game. The most recent fixture, though, at Dorothy Laver, a bit more one-sided in Bulleen's favour. This is Danny Buttress. As well marshalled by Van Duren. And the clearing ball finds Runnels. Won back by Kozamara in a real battle between different generations of players, Sasha Kozamara and Emma Runnels. Attempted work from Rakic. Cross eventually comes from Kane. Alamein with the straightforward defending. Get the ball as far away from our area as possible. They've done a decent job at repelling most of the Bulleen pressure up to this point. Buttress with the chance to cross. Goes first time. It's a good one as well towards Anais Jasevsky. And if she made contact with that, it would have been a powerful strike and tough to stop. Just mistimed it did Jasevsky, and perhaps that's opened up her team to a counter-attack as well. This is Anastasopoulos. Maddie Rakic with a vital contribution to cut that play out. Rakic coming up against the club where she did play as a junior in Alamein. Has been all over the town in terms of NPLW Victoria clubs since then. Just last season at both Preston and Heidelberg. Season before that at Bentley Greens as well. Hoping to find a more stable home here at Bulleen. Although we'll have to fight really hard for her spot. We know how competitive the Bulleen squad is. Particularly when and if some of those big name A-League players come back into the team. Houghton looks inboard to Runnels. Now Dustin opts for the more conservative approach. Shinatsu Shidara looks long and wide towards Clemenson. Bullich heads it out for a throw. This is Sarah Kane on the ball, one of the big name recruits for Bulleen. Coming across from Brunswick Juve, having made a real splash in NPL Victoria a few years back. Jasevsky now. In behind Laurie again, gets the cross away. Cowan came to try smother and is a little bit worse for wear as a result. Genuine attempt to try bundle the ball over the line was made, and Cowan putting her body on the line to keep the ball away and collected a little bit in the head as a result. Hopefully it's not too severe an injury, but we are seeing the medical staff called onto the pitch. So we will just get a check on the welfare of Olivia Cowan and have a pause in play as a result. Always with these head injuries, not wanting to overlook a potentially more serious concern. Both teams taking the opportunity to regroup halfway through this first 45. Do have a reserve goalkeeper in the wings, Kate Bean, last season's number 1, who can come in if required, if indeed this is a game-ending injury for Olivia Cowan. Does look as if the player is feeling okay though, and should be okay to continue, putting the cap back on. Just making sure to do all the due diligence before allowing Olivia Cowan to restart the game. And looks as if we'll be good to go, so a good result. That is not too serious a concern for Cowan, who's had plenty to do in the opening half so far. Not always making saves, but just lots of those overhit through balls the Cowans had to come out and collect or clear away. And we'll get back underway with a goal kick taken by Shidara, who hoofs it upfield. Shidara's ball out wide finds Clemenson. Clemenson gets the cross away. It's a good one as well. And there was Emma Runnels to head home. Body on the line, attacking work from the veteran Emma Runnels, who's a little bit worse for wear as a result, which has given Alamein the lead just over 25 minutes into the first half. As the team get around her, and I'm sure any injuries she sustained will be feeling a little bit better by virtue of having opened the scoring. We will possibly have another stoppage in play just to confirm if Runnels is good to continue. Either way, we do have an opening goal, and each time Alamein have surged forward, they've looked the more likely to score. And it's the evergreen Emma Runnels who scores her first goal of the campaign. Looks to be a leg concern of sorts for Runnels up top, which is now just being checked on by the medical staff, who are certainly getting their work out this afternoon, going from one side of the pitch to the other to support one of the players. But the type of player that Runnels is, I think she'll be quite happy to cop a bit of a discomfort in exchange for opening the scoring for her team. Runnels back on her feet and looks as if she'll be good to continue as well. So it's Alamein 1-0 up. And Bulleen at the moment, having suffered a heavy home defeat last time out, now have work to do if they're to get back into this one. This is Anais Yasevsky. Looks to skip around Laurie. Still going, Yasevsky goes to the deck, but no foul committed. This is Kozamara, who tries herself from a long way out. And Cowan looked to be almost caught in two minds there, whether to claim the ball or let it go wide, but just enough uncertainty that she put her hands up to it, but wasn't able to prevent the corner. Sania Saleh to deliver the corner. The referee just making sure all is in order in the penalty area first. So Saleh to send it into the area. It's into a central part of the box. Looks as if it was Runnels who got the head to it again. And Houghton getting the ball clear. only as far as Yosefsky. And now Saleh returns it to her winger. Yosefsky looks inboard, finds the feet of Buttress, who skips past Runnels. Danella Buttress, it was a skillful display to create the space and get the shot away. The angle, though, proving to be a little bit too severe. Well, as we near that half-hour mark, if Alamein were to see out this game with the scoreline as it is, or any other winning score to take them up to 9 points already this season, which would possibly take them as high as second, depending on the Heidelberg-South Melbourne result this afternoon. But it's been a really fabulous beginning to the campaign for Alamein. They've impressed just about everyone who's seen them so far. And right now they've got the back-to-back premiers Bulleen trailing at their own home. Throw-in finds Runnels, who wrestles for possession with Kozamara. Gets the cross inside towards Clemenson, who did well to manufacture a headed shot. Unable, though, to generate the power to really trouble Emily Shields. So the shot stopper sends it up towards Yosefsky. This is Houghton. Up towards Clemenson. Has the pace to get past Malloy, and the cross inside as well. Renahan, it's an awkward one to deal with. Dustin opts to go back to Maddie Van Duren. Now Clemenson again, who's getting more and more involved in this one. That time, Miller Bullich defended strongly. Might have been able to hear the shout there from the Alamein bench of dealing with the first ball. Just that initial foray into the Alamein half that they just want to get on top of and stop the threat, really, before it's able to eventuate into anything serious. They did a good job of it on that occasion as they look for a repeat entry forward. And the whistle blows for a foul on Savannah Anastasopoulos. So Shadara once again on the long kick duties. The offside flag, though, will deny any further threat for Alamein. Emma Runnels, you might be able to see, disagreeing with the decision, as any good forward would. See the foul there called, having been committed on Danella Buttress by Estelle Bugis, dragging back her opponent, who is just a little bit slow to her feet, but continue to threaten down the right-hand side. Ball sent into the area. Runnels got her head to it first again and just created a little bit of work for Cowan, who was quick to get there and claim the ball. Laurie closing down Yosefsky. Bullich will get the play back underway. This is Dakota Tyson. Gets away from Roger and uses Clemenson. Firm thud against Miller Bullich, who's a little bit worse for wear as a result. That ball cannoning into her wrist and looks to have caused some serious damage. Some real concern for Bullich. Fairly innocuous incident, just trying to block the ball up. And it was her wrist that copped the damage. So it looks as if it will be a premature end to the afternoon for Miller Bullich, who receives a warm round of applause as she makes her way along the sideline. It's been a fairly stop-start half, a number of injury concerns either way, and we'll now see the substitution made as Miller Bullich's substitution, or replacement rather, is found. And it looks as if it will be Eva Megorian, the 18-year-old signed from Calder United. We'll have plenty of work to do keeping Paige Clemenson quiet down that wing. And maybe called into action for the first time in a little bit, but there was Kozamara to get the ball clear. Van Duren sending it up only as far as Rakic. Now Kane gets it to Buttress. Inside, hoping for Saleh. Wasn't able to latch onto the through ball. This is Houghton now for Alamein. Zoe Houghton backs herself to get past Renahan. And the defender gets a toe in to concede the corner. So another set-piece opportunity for the visitors. You see the preparation as they all charge at the same time from the edge of the area. The ball has just a little bit too much height on it for Van Duren. The clearing ball is only as far as Laurie. And the chorus of up is the call from Bulleen as they look to escape the pressure that Alamein are applying. See Megorian's first involvement, sending the ball over the halfway line. Kozamara now, hoping for Yosefsky, but Laurie's just been a little bit on top of that battle over the last 10-15 minutes. Both her and Burgess on the other side, nullifying some of the threat that the Bulleen wingers have been trying to pose. This is Roger. Up towards Buttress. Burgess there to close down the space and concede the throw. Just over 5 minutes remaining in this first half. You'd imagine that we will get a sizable chunk of stoppage time with the injury delays that we've had throughout the half. This is Clemenson. Sends it up towards Houghton, who wasn't able to trap the ball. Malloy cannons it into Runnels, and now Anastasopoulos for Alamein. Has the overlapping run from Houghton. Who looks to put the cross in. It was well blocked by Malloy. Once again, needing to call for one of the spare balls to be delivered. Plenty of opportunity at this venue for the ball to go over the fence, and unless you've got people stationed at every part of the ground, fairly difficult to retrieve them promptly. So Alamein will once again look to execute one of their routines. Corner sent in to a similar area again. Runnels was there. Always looked the most likely to win the header. Did get solid contact, but a little bit of a shove, causing the striker to direct it off target. Bulleen with just about 5 minutes plus stoppage time to find a response to the Emma Runnels goal. But at the minute it's Alamein who are in control of the general play. Renahan happy to watch that roll out for a Matty Rakic throw. Kane up towards Shadara. Now this is Van Duren. Initial pass was cut out. Dustin able to continue it, but Burgess unable to keep the ball in play. It's a clean challenge on Roger, so Alamein once again spring forward. Laurie out to Clemenson. Laurie continued to run. Just got a little bit overexcited with the return pass. Tyson has Runnels for support. Combination of Roger and Kozamara gave away the foul in the end. And the applause comes from the Alamein fans in the stand for what's been a really impressive first half showing. They had to survive some early pressure. They've come out on top as a result. And as things are going, you feel like if either team are to score the second goal, it's looking more likely to be the visiting team. Burgess and Clemenson consult to decide how they're going to manage this set-piece situation. And the hand signal is made. It's Burgess to deliver right into the centre of the area. Chance though now for Bulleen. Buttress hopes for Kane. Yasevsky's charging from the back as well. Calmly dealt with by Estelle Burgess. Buttress tries her luck from a long way out. Cannons off the crossbar. It was an impressive effort, which had Olivia Cowan scrambling. The keeper, though, is grateful as the ball rebounds off the woodwork. Emma Runnels now for Alamein, hoping to pick out Anastasopoulos. But Kozamara can take it in the opposite direction for Bulleen. The game opening up a little bit more, as we saw earlier in the half. Buttress and Burgess. The Bulleen attack continues with Roger, hoping for Sarah Kane, unable to trap it. And Janatsu Shidara was thinking the ball would go out of play. Kane kept the chance alive. And Alamein managed to scramble the ball clear. Just a few heart-and-mouth moments for John Kyrgios and his team in the final minutes of this half. That one's well read by Van Duren. And as Alamein reclaims some control of the ball, we head into 3 minutes of first half stoppage time. So ample opportunity for either team to change the direction of this game before the break. Attempted cross in from Rakic. Saw the swinging boot mistimed. And that's a positive result for Alamein, who are happy, you'd think, to take the final few minutes off the clock and go into the break with the advantage. Kane hopes to release Roger. Janatsu Shidara, well, will be content to concede the throw. All of the Alamein backline have been busy in this first half, but the high-quality chances haven't really come the way of the hosts. So we see yet again a fairly aimless ball into the area, comfortably claimed by Cowan. Tyson under a little bit of pressure, but turned away from Kane very smoothly. And now Runnels, with the support of Burgess, back to Runnels, the scorer. Now Dustin sees Clemenson in a little bit of space. Coming across was Megorian. Some clever footwork on display from Paige Clemenson. There's space on the left-hand side for Anastasopoulos. Cuts onto her right. Anastasopoulos! The ball goes wide after hitting the post. Clemenson continues the attack. And the long-range effort from Tyson is wide. Savannah Anastasopoulos very nearly doubling Alamein's lead just before the break. But just as the woodwork saved Alamein at one end, a few minutes later, it spares Bulleen. And somehow it looks as if we will get to the break with only one goal scored. But the credit really does have to go to Clemenson for her work in the build-up, manufacturing some space just with some clever footwork. And Anastasopoulos as well dealt with it really effectively. Alamein win the ball back high up again. Again, it's Anastasopoulos trying her luck, but deemed to have fouled Kozamara. And that will bring an end to the Alamein threat in this half, you'd think. And indeed, it will bring the half as a whole to an end. So we are at the break at the Veneto Club, and it's Alamein who lead the Premiers Bulleen by 1-0. Emma Runnels with the goal, a headed effort. About halfway through the opening 45. And it means Bulleen have plenty of work to do if they are to avoid back-to-back home defeats. But at the break, the scoreline reads Bulleen Lions 0, Alamein 1. Welcome back to the Veneto Club for the second half of this round 4 NPLW game, where Alamein are leading Bulleen 1-0 at the break. The back-to-back defending premiers Bulleen staring down the barrel of potentially consecutive defeats at home if they're not able to turn this one around at the moment after what was a solid first half showing from John Kyrgios's team. Emma Runnels, the goal scorer. Bulleen have made a change at the break with Caitlin O'Brien coming on to the right back position, and looks as if she's taken the place of Maddie Rakic at right fullback. So Caitlin Friend making a move in the hopes of getting her team back level in this one, but it's been a bright start for Alamein. We see Anastasopoulos and Houghton involved in some attacking play. So Burgess will head on over to take the throw. This is Rosie Roger, has it cut out by Neve Dustin. Dustin and Roger wrestle for it. It's Dustin who wins out and retreats it to Zoe Houghton. Roger winning back possession just for a second as Tyson has it pinched by first Saleh, and then the ball through from Sarah Kane is a decent one as well. Asks Anais Yasevsky to chase. Chinatsu Shidari got there first and happy to retreat to her goalkeeper, Olivia Cowan. It looks to be all good to go for the second half, having suffered a bit of a head injury in the first 45, but looking okay to continue. Bulleen haven't gotten to this stage of the game unscathed. Mila Bulic forced out of the game in the first half, so changes to either fullback position for Caitlin Friend. This is Sarah Kane, hoping to release Buttress, who just got caught under the ball a little. And now Danella Buttress makes some space on her left. Fired from a long way out, never likely to trouble Cowan. And indeed, it's a straightforward pickup for the Alamein keeper. A little bit of concern in the middle of the park as well for what looks to be for Paige Clemenson. Just a little bit slow getting back to her feet. Alamein continue with the attack as Runnels spreads it out to Houghton. Cross was blocked, wins her side a throw. And that will allow a pause just to ensure that Clemenson's all good to continue. Indeed, it looks like she is. This is Runnels. Spreading it out to Clemenson. Skips past Megorian. Getting back to cover was Malloy though. Mention how unlike Bulleen it would be to lose back-to-back home games. It has been a bit of a less than impressive run in recent outings here at the Ven for Bulleen, looking back into last season. If they were to lose this afternoon, it would be 4 in the last 6 games here at the Ven that they've lost in NPLW football. That would include that semi-final defeat to Heidelberg right at the end of last campaign, as well as last week's 3-0 loss to Preston. Right at the moment, though, you do sense that Alamein are the team playing with more confidence as Laurie spreads it out to Clemenson. The first time cross is a good one as well. Houghton was arriving, unable to make firm contact. Anastasopoulos keeps the attack alive. Now Dustin crosses from the other side. Emily Shields always claiming that one, though. Yasevsky now for Bulleen. Has Saleh for support. Looks inside to Kane. Kane unloads. Sarah Kane. She can hit them from range, and that one very nearly finding its way into the top corner. Not for the first time this afternoon. Olivia Cowan grateful to see it narrowly off target. And while the injury concerns continue this afternoon, Paige Clemenson is on the deck again. As the Alamein medical team continue to be called here, there and everywhere on the pitch. There was a little bit of concern closer to the goal where Estelle Burgess was just down on her haunches for a minute. Fortunately for Alamein, the captain looks fine to continue. Clemenson perhaps less so, that leg injury which she picked up right at the start of this half, persisting. Is now back on her feet, wearing the number 8 shirt and just having a chat to assess her condition to keep playing. Does look as if she is determined to do so. So we can get play back underway with a Shidara long kick up. This is Saleh. Still near Saleh. Manufactures a bit of space for herself. Looks out towards Roger. Now Kozamara unable to keep the attack going. And Dustin charges forward for Alamein. Spreads it out towards Houghton. Malloy did her best to intercept. There was a pretty firm coming together. Malloy winning out in that battle. Has been an open start to the second half. Both teams happy to throw numbers forward. Roger continuing to harass and attempt to keep the attack going. This, of course, not the only big game happening in NPLW this afternoon. Already saw a highly significant win for Preston Lions at Cross Keys against Essendon Royals. We are just having a bit of a stoppage at the moment. Not entirely sure. Looks as if someone on the sidelines getting a bit overly enthusiastic with their involvement. Now being asked to step behind the fence. So not too severe of an interruption, that one. And that win for Preston, Brunswick Juventus, last time we checked the scores, were well on their way to a big win against FE Academy. But then, of course, the big other game taking place simultaneously to this one up at Olympic Village between Heidelberg and South Melbourne. And it's South Melbourne who've made a mighty fine start to the season. In command, 3-0 ahead at half-time. What would really be a result that reverberates through the competition, if indeed South Melbourne can go on to claim a comprehensive win against the champions. Also a result with significance immediately for these two teams. For Alamein, it presents an opportunity to go just a point off the top. South Melbourne would be jumping clear on 10, ahead of Heidelberg on 9. And 9 the number on which, according to the live ladder, Alamein now stand. Still got plenty of time, though, for that to change in this second half. Battle in the middle of the park between Roger and Tyson, which eventually prompts the referee's whistle. And looks as if the call is for an Alamein free kick. Shadara's long ball up towards Clemenson. Megorian used her body well. Has the support also of Malloy. Seen quite a bit the experienced defender running across to support her younger colleague, being thrown into the Lions' den somewhat in this second half, having replaced the injured Miller Bullich. This is Emma Runnels out towards Anastasopoulos. In towards Tyson, trying to pick out Houghton. Malloy's been heavily involved in this second half. Against her former team, Kristen Malloy, alongside Kat Renahan, of course. Two of the mainstays in the Alamein team last campaign. Now plying their trade in Bulleen colours. That last touch coming off Clemenson, so it will be a Bulleen throw, and Clemenson, who's already having to deal with some physical issues, that won't hurt, or that won't help rather. Shaking out the hand, which came into contact in that last challenge. Looks as if with that break and play, the opportunity for a change does arrive. And it will be the last involvement of Paige Clemenson, who exits the field and is replaced by Priya Archdeacon, the 17-year-old who gave a good account of herself last week against South Melbourne, now getting a run against Bulleen, having joined Alamein from Bulleen, where she did play as a junior as well. So plenty of split loyalties between players in both teams. No surprise considering the geographic proximity of Bulleen and Alamein that there'd be a bit of crossover for players. But Priya Archdeacon, and just 17 years of age, so really hoping for a bit of a breakout season in Alamein colours. Saleh sprints it out, but Bugis is there to clear. Renahan uses O'Brien, who turns into some space. And Priya Archdeacon is asked to chase. Getting there first is Megorian in a battle between the substitutes. Chance here for Runnels. Jumping onto a loose ball is Runnels. Hoping for Zoe Houghton, wasn't able to get the width on the pass. Chance for Yasevsky, who wins back the ball. Pinched it off the toes of Shadara. And unfortunately for Yasevsky, just the spin of the ball, taking it too far away from her and into the gloves of Cowan. And now there's concern for Estelle Bugis, who's back on her haunches, as we saw a little bit earlier in the half. Certainly been an intense and physical encounter up to this point. We're seeing a number of players worse for wear as a result. Houghton getting away from Renahan, but coming across to clear was the Bulleen defence. Over an hour gone, Alamein still 1-0 to the good. And at the moment, Bulleen not looking especially likely to get back level. Hoping to change that is Nia Saleh, who's got space to run into. Cowan alert, as she has been all afternoon. She's done a really good job at really ending some of those attacks before they begin. Shadara looking out towards Archdeacon. Pure Archdeacon backs herself to try and get past Megorian. Two youngsters wrestling on that far side. And foul called against the Alamein attacker. Even Megorian growing into this game. You get the sense starting to feel a little bit more comfortable. That ball inside will be very straightforward to deal with for Emily Shields as she picks it up for a goal kick. Bulleen will at least take some solace from the fact that they've not so much been threatened by Alamein as they were in the first half, where you felt like when Alamein did go forward, they were looking quite likely to score. That hasn't been as much the case in this second 45. The trouble, though, remains for Bulleen, whether they can generate a chance of their own. It's been an uncharacteristically low-scoring start to the season for Bulleen. Relied on a late goal to get the winner at Spring Hills, the sole goal. Whilst there were a couple in the first half against Box Hill, but otherwise couldn't find the back of the net against Preston. So 3 goals in 3 games, and none so far in their fourth. Hoping to compile that misery is Dustin standing over the dead ball. In some spaces, Anastasopoulos cuts onto her right. Renahan got the ball clear. Dustin puts it back into the mixer. Shadara is the player in the most dangerous position. And Malloy did just enough to make life difficult and allow Emily Shields to come and claim. And now it's O'Brien for Bulleen. Hoping for Yosevsky, but always reading it best was Burgess. Anastasopoulos turns into space. Hoping for Houghton. Now Roger for Bulleen. Over the top, and this time it's Van Duren getting there first. Shadara and Dustin. Now Laurie. Has Archdeacon further wide. Opts to cut in herself before eventually going out to the winger, but by that point, Archdeacon was offside. And another of the troubles for Caitlin Friend in this situation, it's a very young bench that she has. Not players with real NPLW experience, so we'll see if she's able to extract anything from her bench for Caitlin Friend throughout the second half. Is having to rely on a lot of youth in this game. Harriet Laurie takes the throw. Runnels just poking in ahead of Kozamara. Now Archdeacon has a little bit of space on the right-hand side. Megorian works to close it down and does so effectively. Near Saleh. A little tug back prompts the referee's whistle. Do you sense that somebody needs to give an extra bit of spark to Bulleen at the moment? Malloy looks in towards Kane. He's been a little bit less influential in this second half. It's an attempt from Saleh, who we're seeing drop deeper and deeper in the build-up, with a lot of this second half spent in the middle third of the pitch. And Murano is showing all of her exposure and experience there in heavy traffic, turning one way then the other, and then calmly passing it back to Olivia Cowan in goal. Anastasopoulos' flick-on header is a good one for Laurie. O'Brien close to her. And as the ball goes out of play, we will see Alamein look to their substitutes bench again. It's the end of the afternoon for Savannah Anastasopoulos. She's had a really decent showing in attack. And it'll be Maximilia Costa, who was in the starting 11 last time out, who will be brought in for the remainder of this contest. Here is Costa, the recently substituted player. Substituted on, that is. Hoping to provide some reinforcements in attack as we see Costa move to the heart of the penalty area. Runnels isn't able to get it to her though, as Rosie Roger makes the defensive clearance. This is Rosie Roger. Tyson keeping her company. That pass out to Renahan is overhit towards O'Brien. And Laurie, well, the physical contact from Yosefsky did enough. And we will now go to the bench for Bulleen. And it's the end of the afternoon for Sasha Kozamara. We mentioned the youth on the bench of Bulleen. It'll be her under-20s teammate from last season, the player who bested her to the Best and Fairest award, Mary Brown, who will come on for the last 20 minutes in what's very much an attacking move. Brown winning the Best and Fairest as well as the Golden Boot prize for Bulleen's under-20s team last season. So now the youngster will try her luck to get her team back level. Archdeacon, though, for Alamein. Sets Houghton a task. Houghton sneaking in ahead of O'Brien. It was a really impressive bit of play to keep the ball alive. Emily Shields quick to get there ahead of Costa. So still running is Zoe Houghton. Just terrorizes defenses with a tireless work ethic up top. Shidara getting there in the right position, as she has been more often than not this afternoon. Chinatsu Shidara regularly stepping out of the defensive line and clearing the ball. Bulleen looking to change the angles as they get it out to Megorian on the left-hand side. Nella Buttress is beaten to it by Bugis, who charges forward. Buttress, another one of those attacking players for Bulleen, who we haven't seen as much of in this second half. Doesn't need a lot of time to make a big impact, though, Danny Buttress. Shidara got there first, and Alamein get the ball clear. Attempted ball from Dustin. Costa couldn't get it out from underneath her feet. And now Buttress again. Cuts onto her right. Goes from a long way out. That one seemed a little bit more floaty, though. And it's well above Olivia Cowan's crossbar. So Alamein edging closer to what would be a third win of the season, a third clean sheet as well. And they're proving themselves to be one of the toughest to beat in NPLW Victoria this season. They'll have to be in the next couple of weeks because they've got some more real tough fixtures coming up. As we see Buttress sneak inside the penalty area for Bulleen. That pass back for Mary Brown. Slightly misdirected. They are back at home next week, Alamein, to welcome the champions Heidelberg, who, well, if that first half scoreline holds against South Melbourne, will be reeling and looking to bounce back before they head out west to take on Essendon Royals at Cross Keys. So a couple of the tougher assignments to come in the next fortnight for Alamein. Should say in the next 3 weeks. There is that week off during Easter weekend in NPLW action. It's not till the end of the month that they're making that journey to take on Essendon Royals Alamein. Whilst for Bulleen, looking ahead at what they've got to come in the coming weeks, it's they who travel to Cross Keys first. That's next weekend in what will be perhaps the match of the round, Essendon Royals and Bulleen. That ball through is a decent one for Yosevsky, but a match-up between beaten preliminary finalists last season, the Royals and Bulleen, both having made less than ideal starts to season 2025, neither yet able to capture any of the magic that they had last campaign. And then following that, after the week off, Bulleen, they come back to take on Burundara here at the Ven. It's Alamein, who again look to make use of their substitutes bench, and Emma Runnels is the player, or one of the players, heading to take a rest for the remainder of the afternoon. As well as Dakota Tyson, so Runnels and Tyson substituted off for the remainder of the contest. And Matilda Laurie has been brought into the game alongside Roisin Murphy. So Matilda joining her sister Harriet to try and see out the last 15 minutes of this contest. Roisin Murphy will provide some pace on the break, as well as some defensive work rate as well, as you see in action, closing down Nia Saleh. Renahan's clearing ball is straight to Murphy, but fortunately for the Bulleen defender, she'll get another crack at it. That's a good ball for Yasevsky. And there's Yasevsky cutting inside onto her left. Opts to go with a little poked right pass. And Alamein do enough to get the ball away. Archdeacon. Space on the counter for Murphy. If she can keep the ball in play, it's not to be. So where will the spark come from for Bulleen? They're running out of time to get themselves back into this game. Mary Brown has struggled to get involved. The ball not too often in her general vicinity or in a place where she can make an impact. Nia Saleh opts to retreat to Malloy. And the crossfield ball for Buttress. Burgess, who was second best in the first 10-15 minutes of this game, but since then has really limited the influence of Danella Buttress expertly. It's Maximilia Costa, uses Archdeacon. Looks in towards Dustin. Back to Costa. And that's well worked by Alamein into space. The cross in towards Houghton. Falls towards Roisin Murphy. And what a save, Emily Shields. It was some of the best football we've seen this afternoon. A wonderful team move from Alamein. And with the cross beating just about everyone in the box, it fell perfectly for Roisin Murphy, who you thought was destined to find the bottom corner, and that's where it was headed. But Emily Shields, quick down to her side to keep her team in with a chance of getting something from this game. It's Murphy who delivers the corner. Dustin got the head towards the goal, not on target though. And the final touch came off a Bulleen player. So the ball very much right where Alamein would want it. With just over 10 minutes of regulation time remaining, their lead still intact. Murphy's delivery. Getting there first was Megorian. The follow-up shot quickly blocked. Dustin now loses out to Buttress. And Shidara, in attempting to bring an end to the attack, mistimes the tackle and goes into the referee's notebook as a result. Fairly straightforward decision, that one, for our referee Angelique Katsalis. Yellow card that Shinatsu Shidara will be happy to wear as part of keeping her team's clean sheet intact. O'Brien's cross inside is a decent one. Falls the way of Nia Saleh, cross goal. And Shinatsu Shidara was there in the right position. And here's Saleh to deliver this corner. Bulleen look to claw their way back into the contest, into the final 10 minutes of regulation time. The cross, with there are about 3 Alamein players closest to that one, as Priya Archdeacon now leads the counter. Houghton's making a run. Yosefsky back, supporting the defence, using her pace to get there ahead of Houghton. The pass back to Shields a little bit light. The goalkeeper, though, got there in time. This is Murphy. Tries with the left. Always too much height on that strike. O'Brien's cross inside, too close to Cowan. To be fair to O'Brien, the half-time substitutes, he's been one of the more threatening avenues for Bulleen. A delivery from the right-hand side has caused a little bit of trouble, particularly in the last few minutes for Alamein. But as yet, no way through. Be no mean feat for Alamein if they were to lock out Bulleen this afternoon and keep a clean sheet. Only one team managed that in the whole of last season, and that was Essendon Royals when they won 1-0 against Bulleen at Cross Keys. Space for Coster. Gets the cross in from the right. Finds Archdeacon. Narrowly wide of the post. Alamein hunting for that second goal, which would surely kill off the contest. Bulleen hanging on by the skin of their teeth. Buttress resumes her battle with Burgess. Gets the shot away with the right. Had Cowan scrambling somewhat, but it was off target. Alamein edging closer to the result that would, you'd presume, if the Heidelberg South Melbourne result holds, take them just 1 point off the top of the NPLW ladder. After 4 rounds of this season, when you compare that to last season, after 4 rounds when they just had the single point to their name, it's been a mighty turnaround engineered by John Kyrgios and his recruits. Boo just looking to pick out Houghton. Renahan finds Yosefsky. And it's a tired pass from Yosefsky towards Saleh. Tanella Buttress has Rosie Roger. It's now Rogers' turn to strike. And as has been the story all too often for Bulleen this afternoon, it's a comfortable take for Olivia Cowan. And other than that shot which hit the crossbar, the quality of chances for Bulleen just hasn't been there in terms of really looking likely to score. That ball over the top. Malloy will get there first. And in fact, she'll leave it for Shields to come and restart the play. That ball through finds its way all the way to Yasevsky. Anais Yasevsky, a wonderful save from Cowan. And Shadara gets the ball clear, wins a foul in the process. And that was as close as Bulleen have come. Finally, there was a crack in the Alamein defence. Yasevsky was there to exploit it. But some excellent goalkeeping, quick off her line. Olivia Cowan did enough to put off Anais Yasevsky. And was that the chance for Bulleen? Will they get a look as good as that again? Given away to Houghton. Danger for Emily Shields. Clears the ball as well. Heart and mouth for the Bulleen goalkeeper, giving it away. Zoe Houghton, whose attacking pressure has been tough to handle all afternoon for Bulleen. And very nearly got her reward, winning the ball back in such a position, but Shields did just enough to recover. Costur blocking the clearance from Megorian. Now Archdeacon set a task, but Malloy was always first to it. So 2.5 minutes of regulation remain for Bulleen to find a way back into this game. Back-to-back home defeats, getting ever closer. Back-to-back home defeats without finding the back of the net. It's almost unheard of over the last few seasons for Bulleen. Laurie, cross inside. Shields favourite for it. Van Duren, who's had a really good display after a tough last week, moved to a central defensive position, and alongside Shadara, they've looked almost impenetrable. Sarah Kane for Bulleen, got it out to O'Brien, who has no time to lose. The pass though cut out, and the attempted return inside to Matilda Laurie misses out. Candanella Buttress conjures some magic, hoping to pick out Mary Brown, but Shadara well positioned. And now Costur gets past one. Still Costur. And it's a pretty clear-cut foul committed, it looks to be, from Renahan. And the last defender as well. Costur. Worse for wear. There is some dispute as to whether a foul was in fact committed, and if there was, as has been called, what will the repercussions be? And the repercussions are a red card for Kat Renahan against her former team. As the last defender, it seemed to be the denial of a goal-scoring opportunity. And for the second consecutive week, Bulleen will have to close out a game with a numerical deficit as they stare down the barrel of a second consecutive home defeat without scoring. And you wonder if that will put the light out of any dim hope that Bulleen had of getting back into this game as we head into second half stoppage time. There'll be 4 minutes of it. Dustin for Alamein unloads with the free kick. No lack of power. However, it's off target, so Shields will quickly restart play for Bulleen. Well, at this stage, Houghton happy to just delay any Bulleen attempts to get the ball forward. Force them to restart from square one each time they want to get it into the attacking half. Burgess now for Alamein. Murphy has space in the middle. That's where the ball's headed. Crucial interception made. Costeur, the substitute, goes for a fairly speculative attempt. And that one, similar to the last one from Dustin, goes wide of the post. Murphy for Alamein. Hoping for Archdeacon. Kane was there and looks to send through Yosevsky. Cowan's come a long way out from her goal. The offside flag is up as well, so it may not have mattered. Or in fact, it will keep playing. It'll be a corner for Bulleen. So the flag went up. It was waved away by the central official. For what may well be Bulleen's last chance to salvage a point. Niasale to deliver. It's a flat cross as well. There's an acrobatic attempt from Buttress. The chance is still alive as Malloy's header ultimately goes wide. And is that what Alamein needed to do to secure the 3 points? Kane again looks to Yosevsky. She's been the main outlet for Bulleen in the second half. Unable to keep the ball in play. It'll be an Alamein throw. See Bulleen throwing all their numbers forward. It's now or never for the hosts. Van Duren with the clearing ball. Malloy did well to keep the attack on foot. Now Buttress goes with the right. Burgess blocks as she has all afternoon. And now Costor uses the overlapping run of Laurie. This is Harriet. Skips past McGoring and draws the foul. And surely now Alamein have done enough to get the 3 points. Shadara gets the ball rolling once again. And Laurie happy to take it to the least dangerous part of the pitch from an Alamein perspective. And that is full time. For the first time in almost 6 years, Alamein beat Bulleen. It's back-to-back defeats at home for the defending premiers. And for Alamein, 3 wins out of 4 to begin the 2025 season. Emma Runnell's first half goal proved to be the decisive one. And whereas Alamein have made a flying start to the season and now feeling good at Dorothy Laver West for Bulleen, it's really back to square one. They started with the 2 straight wins, back-to-back defeats now. Work for Caitlin Friend to do with her young team to get back on the horse. But at the end of this round 4 encounter, it's Alamein who claimed the win, and deservedly so. Full-time score at the Veneto Club. Bulleen Lions 0, Alamein 1.